been busy, and we're super excited to reveal the next generation of our flagship instrument, Omnisphere 3. Our incredible team has been working on this for many years in secret, handcrafting it with a lot of love and a lot of care, and so it's really a thrill to finally get to show it to you guys today. As most of you already know, Omnisphere has something to offer every kind of creator, from beginner to power users and composers, from the advanced sound designers out there to music producers in just about any kind of genre you can imagine. You have probably heard Omnisphere because it's everywhere. So this new version offers a ton of powerful new synthesis features, an incredible new library of sounds, totally redesigned effects that we're going to talk about later, and much, much more. There's a ton to cover, and we're just going to give you a little taste here in this video, so let's get to it. Okay, so let's start with the sound, because Omnisphere 3 has thousands and thousands and thousands of amazing new sounds from the award-winning Spectrasonics team of incredible artists and sound designers. In fact, it comes with 18 brand new libraries, and these are all organized by different sonic vibes and carefully set up for all of our different kinds of users so that everyone gets a great experience. Now, if you're worried that you won't be able to find the sounds you need because there's so many, we've got some great news because we've definitely been listening to you guys. In fact, I personally curated and went back and remastered the entire factory library with the latest features and effects, and we've come up with a whole new organizational system that's way more intuitive, and it makes it so much easier to find exactly the sounds you need when you need them. The other thing you're probably wondering is just how much hard drive space are all these thousands of new sounds going to take up on my computer? Well, believe it or not, due to our new lossless optimization technology, Omnisphere 3 takes no more space on your system than Omnisphere 2 did, which is crazy. Okay, next up are some killer new features that make being creative with Omnisphere way faster for every kind of user.
Whether you're an advanced sound designer or a preset surfer, a lot of the time what you really need is just to quickly sculpt the patch to fit your music. The new global controls let you customize any sound in Omnisphere incredibly fast. These smart controls analyze and adapt to the patch automatically, so they always work with musical results, no matter what patch you select. Let's check it out. All right, so let's select a patch. I'm going to go up to the directory here, and here are all 18 of Omnisphere's new libraries. Let's check out Analog Vibes, and how about let's select a pad. We got all these different pads. I'm going to go down to Pads Neo Soul, and I'm going to try this Neo Reverse patch. Nice patch. Let's add some resonance. Also nice, super resonant. Let's add some unison. Now, that attack for me is a bit long, so let's pull the amount of that attack down just a little bit. And if we bring the attack all the way down, we'll get a pluck. Now let's add some ambience or reverb to that. Although these controls look simple, there's a lot of sophisticated things going on underneath the hood. For example, this ambience control is analyzing all of the reverbs and delays and microphone positions used in the patch. Let's find a patch where I can show you specifically what I'm talking about. Let's go to Scoring Organic, and let's try some sort of percussive tonal patch. These metallophones are sampled beautifully. Let's try this Triangle Beater 1. Now, if we increase the ambience all the way to the right, we are going to be hearing just the far microphones. And if we increase the length, we are increasing the time of the reverb. Now, inversely, if we bring the amount all the way down, we are hearing just the close mono mic. So obviously, this is very, very helpful, and this applies to any patch that you're using. So let's try another one. I'm going to use this patch, covert percussion, low and high. So let's listen to this. Now I'm just going to use the length control, and we're going to dry it up a bit. Let's bring that back up. And now we're going to increase the length to make it even more crazy. So not only is this super useful, but it can be highly creative as well. And now let me show you something truly remarkable: mutations. This amazing feature instantly makes fascinating and useful variations of any patch. Let's try this with an orchestral strings patch. This Adagio string symphony is a beautiful patch, and if you look over here on layers, you'll see there are 4 layers. Let's listen to it. If I click this button, mutate, boom, we have a brand new patch, a variation on what we just played. A beautiful patch that doesn't even exist in Omnisphere. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. Super cool, and what's really interesting is that that's a brand new patch. Nobody else has that. Let's try using this extreme method where it might even take us even further away. That's cool, it even introduced a new synthwave. Let's try it one more time. Wow, what a cool sound. It's important to remember that all of your mutations are automatically saved and dated for you, so you can come back to them later. And remember, nobody has these patches except for you.
Omnisphere 3 has so many new synthesis features that make it even more inspiring for all our creative patch designers out there. With new full support for MPE, the MIDI polyphonic expression standard, the sky's the limit. Let's jump in and find out more.
Omnisphere 3 has so many new synthesis features, we could easily spend an entire video on each one. So I'm just going to give you a taste of a few here. Have you ever heard of a frequency shifter? It's one of the oldest electronic devices, made originally in 1964 by Harold Boda, who was one of the OG godfathers of the synthesizer. Now, traditionally, you could only use a frequency shifter on the entire sound, which makes it more of an effect rather than an expressive synthesis method, until now. The new dual frequency shifter in Omnisphere 3 not only gives you 2 of them to use in series or in parallel, but it's also the first ever polyphonic frequency shifter, and it can track the keyboard as well, making it infinitely more useful as a method of synthesis. So for example, if we were to use polyphonic aftertouch to modulate the frequency values, we can create really expressive and interesting sounds like this. There are tons of new harmonically rich and expressive wavetables that have been added to Omnisphere's oscillators, opening up all kinds of new sonic possibilities. Let's have a few examples. We're going to use this Origami Animals patch. And the cool thing about Omnisphere is that you've got the ability to have these modulating sounds and wavetables and a beautiful woman's choir layered underneath. Let's try something else out. And let's go for this Elite Swiper. Fun. Let's try something else. Let's go into, let's say, electronic production. And let's go with the Flux of Convergence. Let's get a little harder now. Let's look in the hard edges and bass sounds and stabs category. And let's go for this Foul Stabba. Oof, just nasty. These new wavetables are amazing.
Quad Zone is an incredibly powerful new synthesis feature that allows you to take the 4 layers in a patch and arrange and modulate them in some very cool new ways. The Notes mode allows easy creation of splits. So you can see here I've got 4 different layers that are on different parts of the keyboard, like a standard split arrangement. Now I can also move and overlap the regions and mute them, and then we'll do some crossfading. So you can do positional crossfades and all kinds of stuff. And in this example, you can see how sophisticated you can get because you can do multiple zones. And this is really amazing because it lets you have different sounds on each key. So if I play this note here, that's going to be a different sound if I play this note. So each one's got a different sound. All right, let's take a look at velocity switching because we can easily change it to velocities. So down here I've got, if I play soft, I get that. And if I play hard, I get that. And then in the middle, I've got, so I can kind of do. Okay, but the most powerful mode is fader, which lets you move between the zones with a continuous source, like a MIDI fader. So let's take a look at that. You can see here we've got 4 overlapping and crossfading zones, and those are all controlled from a MIDI fader. So if I play a note down here, I've got a very simple sound on layer A, and then as I move the fader, so that's amazing that you can do all of that just with a fader. But the really amazing thing is that we can use any modulation source to do all kinds of complex fader crossfading using anything that is polyphonic as a source. So if we take the envelopes, for example, we can have the envelope sweep through the different crossfadings of the quad zone. So you get these very interesting harmonics. And a sound that is something that you really haven't heard before. Another thing we can do is you can, of course, modulate it with an LFO. And with polyphonic aftertouch, of course, you can speed up the LFOs. That's really, really cool. And now even our MPE sources can be used to go through quad zone. And this is amazing. Right now I'm using the Osmos to do this, which has all kinds of different MPE dimensions. And what we're going to use is some of the new sound sources, because we have beautiful deep sampled winds from Pedro Eustache. And so this first layer is Pedro playing a ostrich egg. It's a blown ostrich egg, a real one, that he turned into an ocarina. And then the second layer is Pedro playing his flute, whispering through it to create the harmonic series of overtones as he's breathing and whispering through it. So that makes a really interesting layer to have, and I'll bring that in using MPE. So the first thing we're going to hear is the blown ostrich egg when I play normally. And you could hear that the new legato also is very, very smooth, very impressive. And so now when I dig into the note, you're going to hear those overtones. So that's super, super fun. Let's apply that to another one of the new beautiful sound sources, which is our new Italian cello, which is just gorgeous. And what we're going to hear is when I press down gently on the key, that's going to bring in the bowing. And then when I dig into the key, you're going to hear a cello that's an octave higher being added. So let's check that out. So yeah, it's amazing to be able to do that expression and have all of those dimensions with quad zone and these incredible deep sampled sound sources. It's super powerful. So let's go back to Synthland to close it out. And I want to show you what you can do with the almost vector synthesis kind of things that you can do where we can, well, you have an LFO in this case that is sweeping between 4 layers that have different wavetables. And if I press harder, it'll go faster. And if I play, of course, that's polyphonic. So now I can. So So Quad Zone really has so many amazing possibilities. Now let's find out more about the new analog synthesis features.
There's been a major overhaul to the analog synthesis engine in Omnisphere, and it now sounds and behaves more analog than ever. You've now got 35 completely brand new filters that take inspiration from classic analog hardware, circuit modeled filter saturation, that coveted analog pitch drift, and a new glide module that models the analog portamento behavior of various vintage synths. Let's take a look at some of this stuff. So let's check out this drift feature, and let's listen to it using this great patch, this CS80 Driftorama. And as you'll see here, the drift dial is about midway. And essentially this is modeling the behavior of an analog synth, a vintage analog synth, where the oscillators are subtly drifting naturally in terms of pitch and phase. So let's listen to this patch right now. Now, let's listen to it with it all the way off to hear what it sounds like with no drift. It still sounds nice, but it's definitely a bit more musical when we have some drift engaged. Let's bring this dial up almost to the maximum, just nice, a nice amount. Let's listen to what this sounds like now. So it's really nice to have those analog style controls in Omnisphere that help us get closer to that coveted vintage analog sound.
And of course, from day one, Spectrasonics was founded on the immense possibilities of creative sampling. So we're always over here discovering crazy new recording techniques to grow Omnisphere's unique core sound source library. With version 3, we've just expanded it with a vast array of new deep sampled sound sources that explore new sonic realms and takes our creative sampling work to entirely new places. You'll discover a blown ostrich egg, tonal sand, nickel harpa, celestiphone, lyre harps, magic wand metallophones, the gorgeous sul tasto cello, percussive snow, piano harmonics, tongue slap flutes, and so much more. And now let's talk about some really huge news. We are strong believers in the idea that synthesizers are always the most inspiring when you can interact with them physically. So we've been hard at work here and are happy to announce that we have vastly expanded our hardware integration. Omnisphere 3 now supports every major brand with over 300 new profiles. Best of all, it's no longer limited to just synthesizers, but we now support all controllers too. Check out how easy it is to use.
Hardware integration bridges the gap between both hardware and software worlds, giving you hands-on control of Omnisphere. One of the coolest things about the new hardware integration support is you might not even have to buy anything new. Many of you probably already have a supported synth or controller sitting around your studio. For instance, over here, I have the Akai MPK Mini Plus, which I love. I use it on the road all the time and in my studio. It's really small. So to get this set up, it's quite easy. All we have to do is go up to the hardware menu and go down to our brand, Akai in my case, and then go down and find our keyboard, MPK Mini Plus, and boom. Now this controller is controlling Omnisphere and it's controlling the global controls. So let's check this out. So we got cutoff here. Got some resonance, and we even have the envelope. Got vibrato. And we got reverb ambience. Then we have unison. And even some glide action. So as you can see, without even touching the computer, we're already off to the races with our own sound design and creating our own patches. Hardware integration is amazing. Be sure to check it out.
We have spent years completely redesigning the effects in Omnisphere with state-of-the-art component model technology. With 35 brand new, incredible sounding effects units, bringing the grand total to nearly 100, it's pretty safe to say that Omnisphere now has the most comprehensive suite of high-quality effects of any synthesizer ever made. Oh, and one more thing. Yep, you can now also use all your incredible Omnisphere effects in your DAW. As a special bonus, Omnisphere 3 includes an OmniFX Rack plugin, which lets you use all these incredible effects on anything. When we introduced Omnisphere many years ago, we said it would take a lifetime to explore all the possibilities. Today, those possibilities have grown a lot, and there's so many new ways to use it. We love doing what we do, and so we can't wait to see how you guys are going to create with Omnisphere 3. Have fun!